I'm sorry, ma'am. This seat isn't for coach passengers. The flight attendant's voice was polite but firm, and the words felt like a slap to Emily's already fragile confidence. Her face flushed with embarrassment as she clutched the worn handle of her tote bag tighter. Her eyes darted to the plush seat beneath her, then to the rows behind her, and then to the man in a tailored gray suit sitting beside her. Calm, composed, with a sharp jawline and kind eyes. She had made a mistake again. Story of her life. Emily had boarded the plane in a blur, juggling her crying toddler, an overstuffed diaper bag, and the stares of impatient passengers behind her. She didn't mean to end up in first class. She just sat down in the closest empty seat, desperate to soothe her baby, Lily, and catch her breath. Her coach seat was somewhere in the back, squeezed between strangers and bad air. But this was heaven, and it wasn't hers. Just as she began to rise, the man next to her spoke. Calm, confident, his voice like a warm blanket on a cold day. She's with me. The flight attendant blinked. The flight attendant blinked. Excuse me, sir, he smiled, a little amused, but there was steel behind his words. She's with me. Leave her be. Emily froze. The baby hiccuped softly in her arms. The attendant hesitated, glanced at her manifest, then slowly nodded. Of course, Mr. Carrington. And with that, she walked away. Elin they. Emily blinked, stunned. Mr. Carrington? She asked in a small voice. He turned to her, a little smile still on his lips. You look like you needed a break more than anyone on this flight. Stay, it's fine. And just like that, Emily's story, one of struggle, shame, and silent prayers, took an unexpected turn. 3 years ago, Emily had everything. A stable job at a publishing house, a warm apartment in Seattle, and a husband who made her laugh. Then life, in its cruelest form, unraveled everything. Her husband died in a car crash on a rainy night, leaving her alone and pregnant. The publishing house downsized during the pandemic, and she was let go. Since then, life had been paycheck to paycheck. Living in a cramped one-bedroom apartment with a leaky ceiling and dreams, she no longer dared to dream. This trip wasn't a vacation. It was desperation. Her younger sister in Vermont had offered to help, maybe even watch Lily while Emily looked for work. Halkin. She had sold her few remaining valuables to afford the plane tickets. There was no plan B. But now, in first class, sipping orange juice from a real glass and watching Lily sleep peacefully for the first time in days, Emily felt human again. Mr. Carrington, Daniel, he insisted she call him, was different from the wealthy men Emily had always imagined. He wasn't arrogant or distant. He asked about Lily, about Emily's life, and when Emily hesitated, embarrassed to reveal too much, he simply said, You know, strength isn't just about having money. Sometimes it's about surviving the day when everything's falling apart. Emily's eyes welled up. No one had ever said that to her. Not since she lost her husband. As the flight went on, Daniel told her about his own life. A tech entrepreneur, yes, but also a widower. His wife had passed away from cancer 5 years ago. He never remarried, never even considered it. Work kept me numb, he admitted. But sometimes I wonder if I've just been waiting for something real again. Their conversation stretched beyond the flight. He helped her off the plane, carried Lily while Emily wrangled the stroller. At the airport cafe, over lukewarm coffee and stale muffins, he asked for her number. Just to check on you. And Lily, Emily hesitated, but the way he gently cradled her baby in his arms, it broke through her walls. Over the next few months, Daniel kept his promise. He called, he visited. He even arranged for a recruiter friend to help Emily find a part-time editing job she could do from home. He never pushed, never pitied, just supported. Emily's sister began to joke, if this man isn't an angel, I don't know who is. And slowly, against the gray backdrop of her life, color began to return. Emily laughed more. She slept better. Lily began to walk. And Daniel, he stayed, quietly, steadily. A year later, at a quiet park picnic, with Lily babbling nearby, Daniel knelt on one knee, not with a diamond ring, but with a soft smile and an open heart. I know life hasn't been fair to either of us, but maybe, just maybe we were meant to meet on that flight so we could build something new together. Not perfect, but real. Emily, will you marry me? Tears fell down her cheeks as she nodded. Today, Emily tells their story to anyone who'll listen. She tells it in schools where she volunteers, at shelters where she brings meals, and one day on a podcast that goes viral. Because sometimes all it takes is one person believing you deserve that first-class seat, to believe it yourself. And because sometimes the best love stories don't start with perfection, but with kindness, with a mistake, and with a man who says, "She's with me."